So Champions League football, Simon, returned to St James's Park for the first time in 20 years. Newcastle, what could they do against Mbappe and the rest? I tell you what they did. They thumped them 4-1. And homegrown boy Dan Burn had a night that he will always remember. So too did Eddie Howe. This was Burn.
Sort of spoiled it a little bit because as soon as I scored, I looked up, saw the offside flag, and you're a bit deflated. But as I said, as it went on longer and longer, you think, oh, it might be a goal. And just to have all the lads jumping on you and looking around. Obviously, I've got all my family here and stuff as well. So to be able to say that I've scored in the Champions League for Newcastle is amazing.
Goes without saying, we hope that gives us that inner belief that we need to be successful in this competition. I think against Milan in our first game, there was an element of us not quite hitting the levels that we expected of ourselves. But I think it's only by doing that you can truly prove to yourself that you can do it consistently. I think today will go a long way, hopefully, to prove that. But as I said, we have so many difficult games to come in this competition that it's a small step forward, but there's still a long, long way to go. The next game in this competition will be hugely important, but that goes to the back of our minds now as we focus back onto the Premier League and West Ham.
You know, it would be wrong of us not to highlight it, Simon. When a story like this comes along, we really should highlight it, and we will. Dan Burn, one-time season ticket holder at Newcastle United, scores on a Champions League night against one of the sides that no doubt would be up there amongst the favourites to go and win it. A phenomenal story for Burn, and he got his move to his hometown club, and he's taken it, he's grasped it.
Absolutely, and so he should. But it's interesting because I would have thought that he would be one of the casualties as the team moves through the gears and gets bigger and better and bolder and delivers upon what we envisage is the ideals behind this Saudi ownership, that they'll get better players. But he keeps on stepping up. A couple of times he's been exposed this season. He was exposed against Liverpool. But in this game, he represents all the good values of a football side in terms of, you know, his commitment, his unadulterated belief in trying to achieve things, his raising to the occasion.
Yeah.
And what I really liked about the game, besides the fact that it's a British team beating PSG, which I've always described as a Fabergé egg, beautiful on the outside with very little heart on the inside or very little in the middle, was the absolute delight that these footballers had when they were interviewed after the game by, whether it was by Laura or by the other people that were in the TNT mix. So many times you see footballers walking around like it's impending doom, like everything is a difficult situation for them. Yet you saw the joy from Sean Longstaff.
Yes.
You saw the joy from Dan Burn. You see that environment, and that's what football, to some extent, should represent.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote about in my column this week, about emotion. And you saw inordinate amounts of it at Newcastle.
Right.
And part of that was the contributing energy that brought these players to the boil.
Yes.
You saw Anthony Gordon in the first 30 seconds of the game or minute of the game winning a corner and rousing the crowds. That's what football's about.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's about.
I do remember on one occasion, producer Luke and myself, we were doing a double-headed interview with Sean Longstaff and Dan Burn, and they were in Newcastle, we were in London, and they were ready, right on cue, ready at the other end, and they were brilliant in that chat, speaking about the love of the club and what they hope to achieve at the club. So what might they achieve? What might Eddie Howe achieve? Is Eddie Howe slowly, Simon, proving to any doubters he is the man for the big occasion?
Well, it depends what you think that big occasion is for Newcastle.
Well, like last night.
Well, if the big occasion is the delivery of an outcome for Newcastle with some significant scraps, some significant baubles, I question that. Not because I'm being mean-spirited, but because I think that there will come a point where the opportunity for Newcastle to achieve what we believe, we don't know, but what we believe is the ultimate game plan from this PIF ownership, which is to turn Newcastle into a dominant power force in English and European football. I feel that Eddie will do a job that gets you to the point where you're getting close to it. You're getting the Mauricio Pochettino territory of getting a side that gets you there but can't quite win. And I worry...
Why? Why do you think that?
Well, I worry for him that...
Why do you not think he's a man to take them right to the very end of the end game?
Because I think there's an evolution when a club changes direction and pivots on a sixpence. Eddie Howe cannot have got his timing better. They could have put Genghis Khan in control of Newcastle post Mike Ashley, and the Newcastle fans would have rallied around with this fervour that they've got. The feeling, the energy, the vitality of Newcastle. You're coming in at perfect timing. Yeah. Then you can get a group of players playing better, and you get £300 million to supplement the playing squad. I think he feels a little bit, and it may be unkind, it feels a little bit like the Mark Hughes transition from when Sheikh Mansour takes over. Hughes starts to buy big players. He starts to build a Man City side that are really starting their engines, and then Mancini says, "Thanks very much, I'll take it from here," and wins the league.
Oh no,
that's what I think might happen.
I don't think that, and I hope that's not the case. I agree with you.
I hope he gets the rewards of the fact that he will be the building block, because there's an evolution here. No one could have ever envisaged, not the most ardent and fervent and sometimes deluded of Newcastle fans would have ever sat here 18 months ago saying, go forward 18 months, we're going to go to Milan, we're going to get a result in Milan, get a point over there in our first European game, and then we're going to smash PSG.
Yeah, but wait a minute. Do you think he looked out of place last night? I certainly don't.
Not at all. But
so there you go.
Not at all.
Incidentally, how is Genghis?
But there was one close friend of mine, very relatable for me.
He's in my contacts.
There is a situation where Newcastle are not aiming to be participants, are not aiming to be at the top table saying thank you very much for allowing us to be here.
Yeah.
There's going to be this conversation eventually, which is, what does it take for Newcastle to win the Premier League?
Oh, I agree.
What does it take for Newcastle to win the FA Cup?
But why do you doubt that he's not the man to do it?
Because I just think there's a journey that you go through when you're evolving in football clubs where they go through the transition, and very rarely does somebody get to take it all the way along.
So you don't think he's as good as the other guy last night in the away? I
think Enrique's going to get the sack. I think Enrique and that team.
Yeah.
I don't want to take.
They'll get him the sack,
and well, his control over them will get him the sack, and the nature of that football club and what they've created with people like Mbappe that are doing everybody a favour by staying for another season is a culture that probably NASA needs to eradicate, and has tried to do so.
Yeah.
But they created this idea. They wanted a sort of Galacticos mentality in PSG. You reap what you sow.
Yeah.
But Enrique and his like. And people that have managed PSG have proven to be people that have not really gotten PSG any closer to doing anything they've already done before, which is win the French league. Look at Tuchel. Look at Pochettino. So with that in mind, did he look out of kilter with Enrique? PSG are PSG. They win the French league. You're not pitching Newcastle against PSG. That's a moment in time to get out of a group stage and maybe win a cup competition. I'm pitching Eddie Howe against Guardiola, if he's still around, against Klopp, and against others in European football.
Guardiola, he's in a category of his own, Simon. I mean, I think we have to recognise that.
And so is Klopp.
And
so is Klopp. But these are the immediate ones.
And Klopp.
Oh, absolutely. Klopp is a unique manager.
You put Klopp in the same category as Pep.
Not far from it. Let's have it right about Man City. They've got the best manager in the world. They've got the best centre-forward in the world. They've got the most money. So they are entitled to be so far ahead of everybody else.
But you don't think Eddie can join that company?
I think it's going to be very, very difficult. I think he'll have some significant achievements along the way. But if the aim is for Newcastle to win significant things,
and it is,
I don't know if it will be Eddie Howe that gets the benefit of that achievement, but what he will be is a remarkable pathway for someone else to build upon.
It's an interesting debate, and
I'm not wishing it that way, by the way.
No, I agree with you. You've taken us down a route that I didn't intend to go, but we will go. Newcastle fans, as you're waking up this morning, still euphoric about what happened at your beloved St James's Park last night, what about what Simon's saying? Eddie will take you so far, but when it gets to winning the major prize, he might not be the man. I think he is the man. I think he is the man that they need, and that he's proving that he is the man for the big occasion, and last night proved it. My God, there'll be few bigger occasions than that. But if they go all the way to a final, is Eddie Howe the man to get there with Newcastle United? Very keen to get your views on that. 03717 223344 81089.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.